Well, my friends, Donald Trump just had a massive rally at Madison Square Garden. I took copious notes, and let's just say he's the only person who could bring together Hulk Hogan, the Speaker of the House, and Dr. Phil under one roof. Now, the brilliant minds over at MSNBC, they're still trying to imply that this was a Nazi rally, but I've never seen a Nazi rally where black people, Indian people, and Jewish people get up to speak. I'm just calling it like I see it, but there was a black woman singing the national anthem at this event, so I don't think it was a Nazi rally. There were also flags of Israel waving in the crowd. Now, while this rally is going on at Madison Square Garden, Mr. Jazz Hands Tim Walz was hosting an event where he plays video games. Now, I'm not shocked he loves to play video games because of the whole joystick situation. Now, as someone who's pretty strategic, I'm not in Mensa, but I do have a brain between my ears. I don't know how playing video games with AOC is going to move the needle just a few days out from the election. Now, you guys know by now, I've never taken $1 from Trump or the RNC. I call it like I see it on both sides of the aisle, and I love to call out the hypocrisy. MSNBC, Hillary Clinton, the Kamala Harris campaign implying that this is a Nazi rally at Madison Square Garden is ridiculous because Bill Clinton was nominated at Madison Square Garden in 1992. Something else I have to say about this lineup, I don't know if the rally is going to move the needle. I don't know if it's going to help Donald Trump win the election. The race is tight right now, but this roster of people would take out a frail Victorian child. It would give Rachel Maddow nightmares for a year. The Republican Party of 2024 really is the big tent party. They have Hulk Hogan ripping his shirt off. They have RFK Jr., Tulsi Gabbard, Elon Musk, Dr. Phil. We've never seen this before in American history. And before we move on from this topic, let me just say, I see a lot of comments online that Donald Trump despises gay people, he doesn't like gays. The man's playlist is identical to mine. He listens to YMCA by the Village People, Memory from Cat, Celine Dion. I don't think he hates gays. The man has literally hosted gay weddings at Mar-a-Lago. He travels from rally to rally with a famous opera singer. I'm just calling it like it is. Now, Melania Trump made an appearance at this rally. This is basically her first time speaking at a rally the entire campaign cycle. She did not speak at the RNC. I predicted she might show up because it's close to her house. She's like me, we don't like to go very far. Now, Melania Trump, one thing I'll say is that she has been ridiculed for years for staying with her husband, but Hillary Clinton, she was praised for working things out with her husband in the 90s after his indiscretions in the Oval Office. Now, in my opinion, Dr. Phil gave the most compelling speech of the entire night. He spoke about the division in our country and also the bullying that happens from the left if you dare to criticize Kamala Harris or say, you know what, I'm giving Donald Trump a second look. I'm sure many of you have experienced this at some point. I remember back in 2023 when I went to Iowa to interview Vivek Ramaswamy for my TikTok page, I got a letter from my liberal friends back in New York telling me I was a disgusting person just for sitting down with a Republican. I can relate to Dr. Phil because I've traveled across this country in the last year, and a majority of Americans, we can come together under our shared values. We might have different ways of getting to the same destination, but we don't hate each other. But in the eyes of many liberals today, many in the mainstream media, if you even question Kamala Harris, you are an enemy. Now, as for Donald Trump, he unveiled a new policy at the rally. He said, I will support a tax credit for family caregivers who take care of a parent or a loved one. It's about time that they were recognized. Trump spoke about the American dream, ending the immigration crisis, bringing inflation down. But one thing I'll say, I'm just calling it like I see it, we could have cut the opening acts in half. I felt like some of the opening acts were unnecessary. They were counterproductive to the message Donald Trump was trying to preach at the Madison Square Garden rally. People on the left, the right, the middle, people who despise Donald Trump, they will even admit he is the consummate entertainer. He is the best entertainer on earth. We've never seen someone go from a reality show to the White House. In 2015, when he entered the race, he revived news media. So I have to say, he does not need a ton of openers. A lot of the people opening for him, they have more to gain from Donald Trump than he has to gain from them being there. Now, before I wrap this up, one of my favorite moments is something I think a lot of people missed, and that's when Donald Trump talked about the Venezuelan gang, Tren de Aragua. Hearing him pronounce Tren de Aragua gave me a lot of serotonin. All I could think about was Kamala tomorrow pulling out her fake Spanish accent and going, Tren de Agarita. Kamala's gonna go to Chili's, have a couple of margaritas, and be like, Tren de Aragua on me. Kamala's gonna be like, can we get a couple Tren de Araguas for the whole bar? All right, my friends, thanks for liking and following. Drop a comment. Tell me how you feel about Donald Trump, Kamala Harris, everything going on right now. I will see you on the next one. Bye.